Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today. We are shedding light on the visit by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to Germany, that he was attending the climate change or the Petersburg climate dialogue. On the sideline of this conference and dialogue, the President held several meetings. Among them, he held a press conference with Chancellor Scholz, as the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said that he is going to supply Germany and Europe with natural gas. This is a very historical moment. Of course, we are going to shed light on this, and we have the pleasure to host with us Dr. Adel, renewable energy and consumption planning expert. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, Dr. Tawfiq, as I've just mentioned, the historical moment in which President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have announced in a press conference in Germany that he's going to supply Germany and Europe with natural gas.
It is a historical moment. You are absolutely right. In fact, because if we just come back to the year 2012 and 2013, we were in a very bad energy situation, and particularly for producing electricity, and that was for the shortage of gas in Egypt.
Yes.
It came now the moment that Egypt has a surplus of natural gas, which we are ready to help solving the problems of the world with it, especially our neighbors, our good neighbors in Europe.
Yes.
This is one thing. When President Sisi said that we will supply Europe by gas,
yes,
it doesn't really mean that we will only provide the gas from our resources in Egypt,
yes,
but Egypt is a market, is a hub, is a transducer,
yes,
for the gas to Europe,
yes,
through the liquefaction platforms that we own on the Mediterranean coast in Egypt, and then we receive gas now from
yes,
different resources outside Egypt,
yes,
and we can liquefy it, and it could be exported to Europe. So the supply is through Egypt.
yes.
So when we say from Egypt, means from the natural resources in Egypt and from other resources, but being liquefied to be able to be transported,
yes,
to Europe through marine,
yes,
tankers.
Yes, because usually, sir, we wait for the supply from the countries, European countries, and this is the moment now Egypt is offering to supply and to help Germany and Europe with the natural gas. Yes.
You know that we say always now that the world is a small village.
Yes.
It's no longer now that we are separate worlds, like what we have been using before: developed world, developing world, and underdeveloped world, and so on. No.
Yes.
Now the world is a unit, and we can understand clearly that we are a unit. The world, the universe, the planet is facing the danger of climate change.
Yes.
All of us. Nobody is exempted in this earth,
yeah,
because we suffer from that in Egypt. Now we have a very bad humidity today, for instance.
Yes.
And this is
this
climate
week,
change.
This week,
today, I
yes,
mean,
today
when
and this week in general, yes, it's around 85% or something.
Exactly.
Yes.
So this is not normal.
So
when
the climate is changing.
When I was
yes,
in the school, in the
yes,
preparatory stage, we learned that Egypt has a moderate climate.
Yes.
Okay.
For in the whole year.
Yes.
Through the whole year.
It was said hot,
yes,
dry,
yes,
in summer, and moderate in winter.
Yes.
Okay. It's not dry.
Yeah.
So that means we all face this challenge. So if we will not really help each other,
yes,
to solve
this problem,
the problem
challenge
of
of
facing
this
energy,
yes,
and of course challenge for climate change, I think it will not be a good thing for the planet. So it's not only by responsibility, but also by the need of coexistence altogether.
Doctor, but you've just mentioned what we suffer here in Egypt. Of course, like any other country in the world, would suffer from the climate change. But don't you think that Egypt is the situation is better than any other country because Egypt and Africa in general does not have the lack of natural resources, for example?
Okay,
To an extent.
Yes, of
Yes,
course,
to an
of course, to an
extent.
extent, of course.
Yes.
But when we face problems, it is a global problem.
Yes, yes.
So when we say Egypt is facing that in a moderate way, yes, thanks God. Because really, we don't have the problems that other African countries is facing. Because we don't have arid zones all over the country. We don't have this scarce water resources. Of course, we have a limited water resources with a huge consumption related or compared to the resource, but we are much better than other really countries that facing a real challenge to live, not to
Yes.
eat or to exist or to develop, but to live.
Yes.
So this is something that I totally agree with you, but I would like, however, to mention and to state clearly that whatever our role in the pollution and in the production of CO2, it high or limited, the result of the damage caused by the climate change is universal. As I said before, nobody is exempted. So all nations
Yes.
are subject to this
Yes.
damage from climate change.
Yes, yes. So, how do you see, Doctor, the Petersburg Climate Dialogue as a preparatory step for the COP27 climate change conference that Egypt is going to host in Sharm el-Sheikh next November?
You just mentioned it. It is really a preparatory stage.
Yes.
In fact, I have to mention that it was a very smart move from President Sisi to insist to host this COP27
Yes.
conference.
Yes,
in
Egypt was keen to host this.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know that this is a very great sign and very clear sign that to the world.
That Egypt is exerting efforts in this
Exactly,
field.
exactly.
Yes.
Because, you know, Egypt is one of the highly vulnerable countries from the effect of green gas effect that will raise the temperature, the global temperature,
Yes.
and will cause the rise of the sea level.
Yeah.
So we have our north coast is subject to some danger. I wouldn't say to which extent, because it's a matter of studies, it's different schools of appreciation and of estimation, but we will suffer, we will have a problem, definitely. So if we don't contribute to the solution of the world problem or challenge to face this impact, negative impact on the existence of the world or the earth or the people on the earth, I'm sure that we will have rare problems.
Yes.
So it was, when I said, a smart move from the president, because really we will gain a lot of yield and of benefits from having this conference here. It will show how we are moving to be green, and we will have a very, I think, smooth transition phase.
Yes.
Because Egypt is endowed with renewable energy resources, as everybody know now. We have a lot of wind, we have a lot of sun,
Yes.
we have also enough space. So it is possible that, and this was one of the main pillars, I think you will probably touch it, in the negotiation between the Chancellor in Germany and the President, about green hydrogen, which is really based on the electrodialysis of water to oxygen and hydrogen, using electricity from green resources, from renewable energy. So it has been called green hydrogen, because no conventional fuel is being used to produce electricity. That's producing the hydrogen, and the hydrogen is an energy carrier. So we can store it, and this is fantastic, because we normally use the sun during the daylight, and we can store the hydrogen to be used in during the night to generate electricity, so we can solve this problem of intermittency of the solar radiation.
Yes, yes. Doctor, what were the qualifications needed that paved way for Egypt to win hosting the COP27?
Can you
The
please
qualifications needed
okay.
for any country to host such a...
Of course, first of all, you have to be, I would say, experienced in hosting big events.
Yes.
And Egypt has already hosted
Of
several
course, yes.
big events,
Yes.
including football
Tournaments,
competencies
yes,
and
yes.
all these kind of organizations.
And
we
conferences, of
succeeded
course.
in a very, I would say, clear way
Yes.
in organizing that, even during the corona and so on.
Yes.
So this is one thing. The other thing that you have enough space and enough hotels to
Yes.
have the guests.
Yeah.
And it is expected that 35,000 guests will be in Sharm el-Sheikh during the period from 7 to 18 November in Sharm el-Sheikh during COP27.
Yes, yes.
So you have to have infrastructure.
A
and
big number,
facilities.
of course, of guests.
It's not
Yes.
only rooms, but,
Yes.
restaurants,
Yes.
places to hold
Streets,
them.
everything, yes.
Okay, transportation and
Yes.
also the airline services and so on. So I mean, Egypt has all these things.
Yes.
The second thing, that Egypt has been a model in Africa and in the Middle East for using or for exploiting the renewable energy resources.
Yes.
So we are already on the way, on the runway to boom with
Yes,
renewables.
we
and so
are on the right track.
We are on the right
Yes.
track, and that's why when Egypt has proposed to host COP27, I think the world has accepted and appreciated it.
Yes. Sir, could you talk to us about the concept of green hydrogen and how important is it to prepare a national strategy for production of this type of energy?
You know that all the world is moving toward what's so-called zero carbon transition, zero carbon energy transition.
Yes.
That means we would like by 2050 that all the world moves to have all its energy resources from green, green, clean energy.
Yes.
Okay, so that means we have to move forward in adjusting and adjusting our existing facilities to use renewable energy and adopting new technologies to really add to what is existing as technology and so
Yes.
on. So when we use the renewable energy for electricity production from the photovoltaic panels or from the solar thermal facilities to generate electricity, we have sometimes a surplus of this electricity that is not being demanded. And in fact, normally the generation is based on the demand. So if you have a limited demand, you will have a limited generation. But the facilities is there and it can generate more. So the idea, the genial idea behind the green hydrogen, that we can open the door for whoever can produce electricity from renewable energy, and we add to them the facilities to generate or to produce green hydrogen, and to have a network of pipelines that can collect this green hydrogen in some stores, and these stores can be used as the resources for the distribution of green
Yes.
hydrogen, exactly like how now we can distribute the natural gas even to your apartment or to your villa, wherever you live in Egypt now.
Yes. Doctor, how can we benefit from the experience of Germany in the field of green hydrogen energy, and in order for a generation using renewable energy? How can we benefit from the example of Germany?
We can benefit a lot, and we are already benefiting from Germany in different aspects for conventional energy, and also
Yes.
for renewable energy, and particularly now for the green hydrogen. I should say that I used to work for the Ministry of Electricity before, And in the 80s, we have started working with the German guys for the solar thermal collectors that's being used for solar water heaters. Since the 80s, we have participated in a round-robin test as a station in Egypt, with a station in India, a station in Colombia, and another one in
Yes.
Germany. And we were making the same test for the same collectors in the same time to compare about the performance under different climates. And that was the first cooperation between Germany and Egypt. I was working for the Ministry of Electricity at that time, under the umbrella of the Ministry of Electricity, in renewable energy, and it has continued. And now we have expanded all that with different applications. You know that Germany is financing a lot of the wind farms
Yes.
in the Red Sea area. Germany is installing with us the Siemens superconductor,
Yes.
anyway, the combined
Yes.
cycle power stations,
Yeah.
the three of them or the four of them. And lately, Egypt also has a very important agreement with Siemens for the green hydrogen production. So the technology in Germany is being used and is being also transferred
Yes.
to Egypt, because the green hydrogen will be the energy of the future. So we need from now to work hard to really adapt and adopt, and not repeating what is happening for oil, that we own the oil underneath the ground in our countries,
Yes.
but we don't own the technology
Of
to
yes,
get it
to
out.
get it out.
So
Yes.
please, now we are smart enough. We have a lot of technical يعني capabilities.
Yes.
Either human or in hardware, and we have to work hard on that now,
Yes.
to adapt and adopt these technologies, to master whatever possible to be transferred to our countries, also to create I would say jobs, new
Yes.
jobs, and so on, and to enable us to work with other neighbors in Africa and in the region, using our industrial platform, which
Yeah.
is really very advanced and spreaded all over.
Yes. Doctor, you've just mentioned electricity. So how can we benefit from producing green hydrogen, and to what extent will it contribute to reducing electricity selling prices?
Of course, it's a matter of mass production.
Yes.
If really we will produce a lot of green hydrogen, of course, it will be cheap. And this depends on the maturity of the technology itself, which is being used. So if we really can have this technology mature enough, and also with large-scale production units, of course, the cost will be less. But how can we use it? It is a fuel that I would say that I'm working now in the field of renewable energy and so on, and we try to find out how can we use hydrogen. I will give you an example that we are working on it now. It's still a secret, but I will just reveal a part of it
Yes.
for you.
Okay.
I mean, you know, in the villages, they have a small pumping stations, mobile, that they use it on the canals to withdraw water from the canal to pump it to the lands. Okay? And this is small units of 5 horsepower, 10 horsepower, and so on. And now we are producing such kind of mobile pumps using photovoltaic panels from solar energy. The other idea now we are working on, that we can have a small diesel, we call it diesel, but it is a generating set.
Yes.
But it will use the hydrogen to run the machine, to generate the electricity, to run the motor of the pump.
Yes.
So it will be just a very small thing like that, rather than having panels and so and so and so and a container. So it will help all the application that needs electricity with what's so-called fuel cell. Fuel cell is a conversion equipment from hydrogen to electricity.
Yes.
So this is, and when we use the hydrogen and we burn it in oxygen, we produce fresh water. So we don't have any, I would say, pollution out of using the hydrogen as a fuel.
Yes.
The contrary, that you will produce fresh water out of this hydrogen burning.
Yes. Doctor, is Egypt the first Arab country moving towards green hydrogen?
With this scale, yes. There are, of course, you know that all the research laboratories and so on are working on these kind of technologies in different, I would say, bilateral and multilateral research projects. In the laboratory scale, Egypt, yes, is the first Arab countries that is really transforming this laboratory scale things to real market opportunities.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were just watching live that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's, upon his arrival, he was offered an official reception upon his arrival in Serbia presidential palace. Well, a short break and we are going to ladies and gentlemen, we continue our interview with Dr. Adel Tawfiq, renewable energy and consumption planning expert. Well, Dr. Tawfiq, we were just speaking now about that Egypt was the first country moving towards green hydrogen.
Yes, in a large scale.
Yes. So how important are renewable energy products here in Egypt, sir?
I think we have already made a lot of progress in the renewable energy field.
Yes.
As far as our plan was to reach 20%
Yes.
of our installed capacity from renewable energy by the year 2022. So I think we have even exceeded this target from solar, mainly from solar energy and wind energy applications to generate electricity, which is connected to the grid.
Yes.
So
I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Adel Tawfiq, renewable energy and consumption planning expert. Thank you very much. I really had the pleasure to host you today.
it was my pleasure too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for following me in this segment. My name is Amal Mukhtar. I leave you with the rest of the segments of The Breakfast Show.